2020 news. Elizabeth Warren is probably coming to the end of the line here. Poor old Hiawatha, just not going to make it over the finish line if the polls are to be believed. And I think Liz Warren knows that too. She knows her campaign is in serious trouble. She's way down in Iowa. She's way down in New Hampshire. If she pulls an upset, then she's back in the race. But if she really gets clobbered in both those states, it's hard to see how she comes back, especially New Hampshire, which is right in her backyard, right near Massachusetts. So this could be the end. Liz Warren is throwing a Hail Mary here. She's pretending that she has already won the nomination, and she is launching an ad directly against Donald Trump.
He grew up in a mansion in New York City. She grew up here in Oklahoma. He got millions from his dad's real estate empire. Her dad ended up a janitor. He scammed students at his for-profit school. She got debts forgiven for students who were scammed. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Trump's life taught him how to get rich on the backs of others. Elizabeth Warren will be a president who works for you.
I'm Elizabeth Warren, and I approve this message.
So this would be a desperate play, regardless of how the actual content of the ad turned out. But how tone deaf to make the thesis of the ad, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Okay. Well, is Elizabeth Warren a Cherokee who submits recipes for Pow Wow Chow? Oh, no, she's a liar and a fraud and the whitest woman in America who pretended to be a minority for decades to advance her own career at the expense of minorities. Is that when Elizabeth Warren tells you that her kid goes to public school, don't believe her because she's lying to you. When Elizabeth Warren tells you she was fired for being pregnant as a teacher, don't believe her because she lied about that too, and she lies about just about everything. It's a really pathetic ad. Campaigns do this when they get to the end of the line, when they need to throw a Hail Mary. So what they'll do is pretend to be very confident. You know, you'll see candidates start running ads against the general election opponent. You'll see them talking about their cabinet that they're going to fill or their running mate, and that you do it because you need something. You need any momentum to try to stave off what is usually the inevitable, and it would seem to be the inevitable for Elizabeth Warren. Nobody is happier about that than Hillary Clinton, who I think would probably have to go get Liz Warren Epsteined if Warren became the first female president instead of Hillary. So Hillary Clinton is making the rounds right now. She's promoting a documentary about herself, her favorite subject, and she is attacking Bernie Sanders. She's saying, you know, she's trying to downplay the attacks on Bernie a little bit, but she's still getting them in there. And in interviews, she's saying, initially, she said nobody likes Bernie Sanders and he's never accomplished anything in his life. Now she's just saying, I think it's important to look at somebody's record and look at what they've gotten done and see whether you agree with them or not. And then, of course, the question comes to her, is she going to run for office? And she cannot possibly quell her urge to be president.
I know that you're not running, but do you ever feel the urge that, like, I could beat him if I were, or like, I wish I, you know?
Yeah, I certainly feel the urge because I feel like the 2016 election was really an odd time and an odd outcome, and the more we learn, the more that seems to be the case. But I'm going to support the people who are running now and do everything I can to help elect the Democratic nominee. Classic
Hillary. She's implying here, not so subtly, that the 2016 election was rigged and illegitimate. That's what she means by odd. And she says, the more we learn, the odder it seems, which is just not true. Initially, they said that Trump conspired with Russia to steal the election, and that was completely disproven by a 2.5-year, $32 million investigation that you and I all paid for. Anyway, I digress. The reason that Hillary is able to get these kind of hints in, she's able to talk about how she really wants to run for president now. The reason that reporters are even asking her about it is because the Democratic field is so weak, because they don't really have anybody. Elizabeth Warren, who was once considered a bright star in this field, is really fading. She's fading in the polls. She's fading in the minds of the elites who were promoting her on television and elsewhere. So she's throwing the Hail Marys. If you enjoyed that video, and let's be honest, of course you did. I hope you did. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so everyone wading through the wasteland of YouTube knows that we have the best content out there.